Hi everyone, welcome back. Today's topic is I'm going to be talking about how massage can help with body image. Now, I've talked in previous videos about obviously physical benefits and benefits to someone's mental health. On the mental health video, one of the benefits was, to assist with sort of body image and self-esteem. So I'm just going to talk a little bit more in detail about how massage can help with this subject, because I think it's one of those things, I suppose a bit like weight loss, where people, you say, oh yeah, massage can help with that, and people are like, well, yeah, really, but actually, it can be really beneficial, and certainly in, specific sort of areas where body image, can be quite negative. So I'm going to talk about those areas as well. So, basically our bodies interact with every situation in our life, and our bodily awareness influences our ability to reach personal goals. For some people it will literally affect their whole life. How happy they are, whether they take advantage of opportunities that come their way. And often it's, they sort of fail to take these opportunities through sort of embarrassment, because they feel a certain way about themselves, and then they assume that everyone else will, and that they'll be judged or something. So but most of us, if we're honest, have something about our bodies that we really don't like very much. Whether it's a wobbly stomach, or weird calves, or whatever it may be. But it's important to remember that body image is a product of the imagination. It's not reality. And our perception of our body's appearance, because it's a product of the imagination, it can therefore be changed. It doesn't have to stay in this negative state. So body image is really that mental representation of our physical body, and it can play a major factor in our identity. And quite often this will certainly be created by, from past experiences, or certainly influenced a fair amount by those past experiences. And so this isn't, one of the things, for example, if you look at people who've suffered from domestic abuse, obviously there's a lot of other factors involved, but they're going to have pretty poor self-esteem, and quite often poor body image, when they come out of that relationship, because they're so used to being told that they're not good enough, or that there's something wrong with them. But also body image can certainly be distorted in people with various sort of physical health issues, and so I'm going to talk about some of those now. So probably an obvious one would be things like eating disorders, so anorexia nervosa, bulimia, where bodies are deemed as being fat, but they're actually going through starvation, but it's that whole perception of how that person feels, as I say, possibly combined with various sort of factors from previous experiences. Another one is chronic pain disorders. Now, I've posted previously on chronic pain, but certainly, you know, the pain that we experience when we have a chronic pain issue is often projected onto the body. So, for example, you know, when people will say something like, oh God, you know, my back's killing me. Well, actually, it's kind of the pain, really, isn't it? But people never say, oh, this pain is killing me. It's always projected onto that body part. And so sometimes just through use of language, you know, that can indicate sort of issues with body image. Another one, again, that I've recently done a video on is phantom limb pain, which we see in amputees. So we know that pain can be felt even, you know, in the absence of a body part. And obviously there's a lot of factors going on in terms of sort of the nerves and sort of how sensory messages are transmitted, which influence the perception of pain. But given that the pain is in that absent body part, to a certain extent, it is therefore also controlled by our body image and our perception of, you know, our body. I will talk about that a little bit more sort of coming up. But, you know, if we look at sort of various pieces of research on body image, certainly various studies have shown that, you know, visual distortions of body image in chronic pain patients will affect, you know, their perception of painful stimulations. Yeah, going back to phantom limb pain, obviously sort of the awareness of that missing limb, you know, can be crucial in terms of how, you know, an amputee views their body, because quite often their brain is still, you know, certainly immediately post-op, sometimes for over a year, their brain is still not quite kind of caught up with the fact that that leg's not there anymore. And so this is where phantom limb pain comes in. And if you've not seen the video on amputees and massage, then go take a look and it will explain. But research has also shown that the use of mirrors in amputees experiencing phantom limb pain can actually be quite beneficial in terms of activating those brain networks involved in movement. And it's been shown to kind of rewire the brain, if you like, and it can therefore reverse these common perceptions of, you know, the phantom limb. And this, you know, the fact that this has been shown to work kind of corroborates the view that as something which is conceived in our imagination, you know, that our body image can certainly be changed and, you know, overcome. Now, when sort of people ask me what I do for a living, you know, and I say that I'm a massage therapist, quite often I can tell from their response, you know, whether they potentially have body, you know, image issues, because quite often people who have, you know, really quite negative body image issues will have quite a negative response to the whole massage sort of scenario. And again, it's because they have such a negative view of themselves. They kind of expect, you know, that a therapist or whoever else, also wouldn't be accepting of their body. And so, this causes them to have sort of quite a negative response, and, oh no, I don't like massage, or, they just don't want to even think about it. But, even if I look at sort of clients that I've had over the years, even clients, on their first visit in particular, quite often they'll apologise for, that extra roll of flesh, around their stomach, or they'll apologise for not having shaved their legs, or, whatever it may be. I've even had people apologise for not having painted their toenails, it's and that's, again, it's just them sort of having that feeling about themselves that, oh, that's not so good, that doesn't look so great. And because they feel that way, they think that, I'll be standing there judging them. But, in reality, actually, massage can be particularly beneficial to those with body image issues. And, of course, when our bodies feel better and when we feel better in our mind, that's when we start to feel better about our bodies. So, it really is beneficial. Also, when we get stuck in that negative body image, thought pattern, our psychological experience of our physical body, can quite often, it will become habitual. And that becomes sort of all that it's kind of like someone, if they've had, been in a long-term, stress sort of state, for example, someone with PTSD, that becomes their way of life. That becomes almost like a habit, and they don't know any other way. And it's kind of like that with body image. And because of this habitual sort of thought process, this can also generate habitual patterns of muscle tension, and particularly around sort of the neck and the shoulders and the back. But as we know, massage can help release both the physical and mental patterns of tension. And this then helps us to view ourselves in a more positive way, by, promoting an awareness of our body, and, allowing us really to just look at things a bit more positively, and therefore accept ourselves, a lot more. Obviously, sort of massage, it allows us to experience the sensation of touch, which is so important. I've talked about it previously, to our sense of self, and it does this in a non-threatening way, which, again, it helps us having someone. It's surprising how many people go for long periods of time without any touch from another human being. And when we get this in a safe environment, it can really help us to view ourselves as physically acceptable. The fact that someone else is willing to touch them, despite the fact that they might have an extra roll around their stomach, or they might not have shaved their legs, and consequently this then really helps to boost our our self-esteem and our body image. Now, as I've said, there's been various research studies done on the positive effects of massage on body image. Certainly there was a study done on body image of women following a mastectomy, which shows that massage therapy can really help in terms of adjusting to life without their breasts. Also, there was a study that looked at body image related to abdominal fat in postmenopausal women. And this showed that certainly there were improvements in body image and also in the amount of abdominal fat following a course of massage treatments, particularly when used with aromatherapy. Which obviously, we know can have, certain oils can have effects on, balancing out the hormones as well, which quite often is responsible for a lot of weight gain in postmenopausal women. Now, we talked earlier about anorexia and bulimia. There's been research looking at the body image in those with, these eating disorders, which showed that regular massage treatments over the course of a month not only reduced levels of stress, anxiety and depression, obviously by the sort of balancing out of those stress hormones and bringing in the endorphins, but also it showed that eating had improved, and that body image consequently was less distorted. They had a more positive and more kind of accurate view, of their bodies. So by creating a positive body image, massage can help the client to engage in more healthy behaviours, which in turn is gonna, kind of promote sort of good health, both mentally and physically, and then the sort of cycle goes on and they continue to feel good about themselves because their body's feeling good. It's also been suggested that women's objectification of their body and perception of, not measuring up to society's ideals, these things have also been shown to be reduced through massage. And in today's society, where you've got people posting all their selfies on Instagram, in a little bikini, looking, great, and God knows how much of it is probably photoshopped, we have these unrealistic expectations that, and standards that we kind of measure ourselves up against. But, massage again through that, just that touch and that feeling like they are accepted physically, can really go a long way in, changing someone's perception. People, as I said, people who have this negative body image, they, often have this view that their bodies are sort of disgusting or something that shouldn't be touched. And as I say, they may well avoid massage through embarrassment. But, honestly, a good therapist does not care. A good therapist, will make you feel comfortable, and they just see a tight muscle or, a weakness in this area. They don't, we don't stand there and think, my God, this woman's bum is huge, it just, it's not an issue. So, our job is to make you feel better, both physically and mentally. And, once this happens, once this starts, you'll start to break those negative thought patterns about your body and, start to just kind of perceive yourself in a more positive light and consequently, look after yourself, further. So hopefully this has given you a little bit of understanding as to how massage can help with body image. And certainly, if you've got any of those issues that I mentioned, chronic pain, if you've had something like a mastectomy or an amputation that has dramatically changed your body appearance, or if you are someone with an eating disorder, do get in touch with me. I'll answer any questions, and you can leave a comment down below, or you can contact me through my Facebook or Instagram pages, and I will always come back to you. But for now, that is all from me. So take care of yourselves, and I will see you next time. Bye.